Okay, here is the last video of the Week 14 test. This is concept 12-2. Once again, this concept will not be on the Week 15 test. However, study these concepts and then let me know that you're ready to take a test on it, and I'll be happy to let you retest and show what you know. So Brooks Painting used the following amount of primer and paint at each job site this week, and they give us a set of values. Part A, graph those values. So let's graph these. 5 parts primer, 5 gallons of primer, use 2.5 gallons of paint. Primer on the bottom, paint up the side. Might help when you do a problem like this for you to label which axis they're putting the information on. So 5 gallons of primer used 2.5 gallons of paint. 10 gallons of primer used 7.5 gallons of paint. So far we have a straight line, but then you always have a straight line with just 2 points. 15 gallons of primer used 15 gallons of paint. That's not quite straight anymore. In fact, I'm going to pull out my line tool and I'm going to place a line through these first 2 points. That's what a straight line would look like through the first 2 points. So you can see we already have a point now that is somewhat off that line. 25 gallons of paint for 20 primer. So 20 primer, 25 paint. 20 primer, 25 paint. Now you can see we're way off. And for 25 primer, we use 37.5 paint. 25, 37.5. You might have noticed back on job 1, twice as much primer as paint. Back on job 2, not quite twice as much. Back on job 3, same amount. Back on job 4, less primer than paint. Job 25, less primer than paint. So the red dots represent the jobs. The blue line represents what a straight line would look like, and we can see that all the points are not on it. So the answer to the question, is the amount of primer used proportional to the amount of paint used? The answer is no. The relationship of primer to paint changes. The way that you can tell is that when you look at it, it does not form a straight line. So points do not graph a straight line. That is the visual cue that we do not have a proportional relationship. Now, several people said on the test it doesn't go through 0. Well, we don't know that because they don't show us a 0. You can guess that if you had no primer, you probably also had no paint, but we don't know that for sure. What we do know is that it doesn't graph a straight line, so it's not proportional. Okay, so check yours against that. Bring any questions you have to class. Remember, this won't be on the Week 15 test, but there is the opportunity to ask questions, and I'm laughing because I've got the Super Bowl in the background, and the Seahawks just scored again on some horrible Denver tackling. They now lead 35-0. I don't think anybody thought the game would go this way, even the biggest Seahawk fans. All right, so match this up against your test, and then bring any questions to class.